It was supposed to be a flawless evening, a gathering of wealth and influence where appearances mattered more than anything else. The hotel's manager had prepared for weeks, desperate to impress the wealthy Chinese businessman who had just checked in. But when the guests began speaking rapid Mandarin, everything stopped. Staff froze, eyes wide, unable to understand a single word. The tension in the room was thick embarrassment, fear, and the risk of offending someone powerful. Then, out of the corner, the black maid quietly looked up. What happened next would shock everyone in that room and leave the arrogant manager scrambling. How could someone so overlooked hold the one skill that could change everything? The maid's name was Aisha, a quiet young woman who worked long hours in the Grand Hotel, often unnoticed by both guests and management. She had grown up in a modest neighborhood, raised by a single mother who taught her resilience, discipline, and the value of learning. While her job was to clean rooms, polish glasses, and remain invisible in the eyes of luxury, Aisha carried a secret the world around her rarely suspected. From childhood, she had loved languages, pouring hours into books, videos, and online lessons whenever she could afford them. Her favorite? Mandarin. What began as curiosity turned into fluency. But in a world quick to judge her by skin and uniform, few believed she was capable of something so complex. Still, she kept her gift to herself, never drawing attention, never giving anyone a reason to mock or doubt her. The hotel where she worked catered to the wealthy elite. Managers strutted through its marble halls, staff hurried silently to fulfill impossible demands, and guests measured status in every gesture. Aisha was used to being overlooked, treated as part of the decor rather than as a person. But that night, when the Chinese millionaire arrived, the stage was set for something different. The manager, desperate to secure the businessman's favor, tried smiling and gesturing, but nothing worked. The wealthy guest's words flew fast, sharp, and filled with urgency. Sweat formed on the manager's forehead. Staff shifted nervously, avoiding eye contact, terrified of making the wrong move. And Aisha, standing quietly in the corner with her cleaning supplies, felt her chest tighten. She knew exactly what was being said. She also knew what it would cost her if she stayed silent or if she dared to step forward. Would anyone believe her? Would she be ridiculed for stepping out of her place? What would you do in that moment? Risk everything by speaking up? Or remain silent and watch the chaos unfold? The air in the lobby thickened with tension as the millionaire's voice grew sharper. His Mandarin carried urgency. He was frustrated that no one understood him, frustrated that a world-class hotel could not meet such a basic expectation. The manager's forced smile faltered, his hands trembling slightly as he tried to call someone from the back office, but no interpreter arrived. Guests in the lobby began whispering, phones subtly recording, ready to catch the humiliation of the hotel failing its most important guest. Aisha stood at the edge of it all, clutching the handle of her cleaning cart, her heart racing. She knew exactly what the businessman was saying. He wasn't being rude. He was simply asking about an urgent shipment that had gone missing, something tied to his company's business deal. And she knew that if no one responded soon, the hotel's reputation could collapse before everyone's eyes. The injustice wasn't just in the manager's panic, but in the way he had always treated her. To him, she was invisible, replaceable, just another uniform in the background. The same man who barked orders at her for polishing glasses too slowly now stood powerless, drowning in words he couldn't grasp. Yet even in his panic, he never once looked at her, never imagined that she, the black maid, might hold the answer. Her mind spun. She remembered the nights she stayed awake studying Mandarin while scrubbing tables at a cafe to afford her lessons. She remembered the neighbors who laughed, asking why a girl like her would waste time learning such a complicated language when no one would ever take her seriously. She remembered her mother's voice telling her, "One day, they'll see what you're capable of." The pressure in the lobby built with every passing second. The manager was stammering now, his polished composure unraveling. The businessman's frown deepened, his voice louder, sharper, echoing through the marble hall. Staff exchanged anxious looks, some silently begging for a miracle, and Aisha's pulse quickened. She could stay quiet, protect herself, and let the chaos continue. Or she could step into the light and shatter the silence. What would happen if she dared to speak? Would they laugh? Dismiss her? Or would this be the moment her hidden voice finally broke through the walls built to silence her? The moment finally came when silence could no longer protect her. Aisha drew in a breath, stepped forward, and spoke, her voice calm, her Mandarin flawless. The words sliced through the chaos like a blade through glass. Instantly, the millionaire's eyes widened, his anger shifting into surprise. For the first time that night, he stopped speaking, his attention fixed on the maid no one had bothered to see. The entire lobby froze. The manager's jaw dropped, his face draining of color. This wasn't just translation, it was precision, tone, and respect woven into every syllable. Aisha conveyed the businessman's concerns perfectly, bridging the gap no one else could. In that moment, she wasn't just a maid, she was the only one in control. But the manager's panic turned into something darker. Embarrassment twisted into fury as he realized what had just happened, that the power he clung to. It slipped into the hands of the woman he had dismissed and belittled for years. Whispers rushed through the crowd. Guests raised their phones, higher, capturing every second. The story was no longer about a hotel stumbling. It was about the maid who had just outshined them all. Aisha's heart pounded, but her words never faltered. She watched as the businessman's expression softened, respect flashing in his eyes. He nodded, gesturing for her to continue, treating her as an equal in a way the manager never had. The weight of years of silence lifted as she realized this. Was her moment a turning point no one could take from her? And yet, as the manager's trembling hands clenched into fists at his sides, the question hung heavy in the air. Would he acknowledge her brilliance, or would he try to silence her? Once again, what do you think happened next? The manager forced a smile, but the strain around his eyes betrayed him. He wanted control back. Yet every word out of Aisha's mouth drew more respect from the millionaire. Staff and guests alike were watching, their eyes no longer on the polished manager, but on the maid who had stepped out of the shadows. For once, she wasn't invisible. When the conversation ended, the businessman clasped his hands together and bowed slightly toward Aisha, thanking her with genuine gratitude. It was a gesture of respect, one that echoed louder than any insult the manager had ever thrown her way. Phones captured it, all the powerful guests honoring the maid the hotel had ignored. The manager stammered, trying to claim credit, muttering that Aisha was trained for emergencies, but no one believed him. The truth was clear. His authority had crumbled, his arrogance exposed. Aisha had not only saved the hotel from public disgrace, but it also revealed the blindness of a system that had dismissed her because of her skin and uniform. That night, Aisha walked home differently. Not with her shoulders slumped from exhaustion, but with her head high, carrying the weight of her quiet victory. She knew the manager's resentment wouldn't vanish overnight, but she also knew something far greater. Respect had been earned where it mattered most. This wasn't just about language. It was about every time someone underestimated her, every door that had been shut because of prejudice, every sneer that said she didn't belong. In one moment, she had turned all of it upside down. And it leaves us with a question. How many voices, skills, and stories remain hidden not because they lack brilliance, but because the world refuses to look past uniforms and skin color? Maybe the real challenge isn't whether talent exists, whether we're willing to see it. What would you have done if you were in Aisha's place, stayed silent to keep the peace, or spoken out to change everything? Asterisk, 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 if this story moved. You, don't let it end here. Join us at Black Rises, where we bring you powerful stories that uncover truth, expose injustice, and honor resilience. Hit the like button to show your support, subscribe to stand with us, and tap the notification bell so you never miss the next story. Together, we rise together. We make a difference.